Rapid Solicitors, sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Accident compensation and medical negligence claims.
Hello and welcome to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. It's tight at the top of the league, it's tight in the two conferences. We've got plenty to get through this week. Here's what's coming up. The Belfast Giants falter as the Sheffield Steelers climb up the table. The playoffs are almost upon us. We have the first three teams through to the postseason, and we've got the best of the rest of the action from around the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League. A very good evening to you folks. Thanks for joining us. You'll see I'm joined by Coventry Blaze forward Russ Cowley, but before we speak to Russ about all the action that we have ahead and the two conferences and the league, I guess the big talking point this week has been the Belfast Giants. I'm sure you've been looking on your internet site and reading the local press reports. We are in the presence of a statement from Todd Kelman, the general manager of the Belfast Giants, who confirmed that the Belfast players all resigned from the company that had the lease with the Odyssey Arena. That was following the recent ownership change. You'll note, of course, that the Giants did play last weekend against Russ's Coventry Blaze. We'll have highlights of those two games coming up. And since those two games, have now re-signed for a new company owned by the Odyssey Trust. The Odyssey Trust is the organisation that controls the Odyssey Arena. So, stable times ahead for the Belfast Giants. We trust nothing to worry about, and we wish Todd Kelman and everybody else involved with the Odyssey Trust and the Odyssey Arena good times moving the Belfast Giants forward. It's never good, is it, when your hockey club has a period of turmoil, and you can feel for the people in Belfast right now. They're worried about their hockey club. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're a good club. They're a big club. They're run very professionally with Todd obviously there as GM, and through times like this, you need people like Todd, who I know will probably get them through, and absolutely with the players as well. I know a couple of the players there, and I'm sure they'll pull through, and things will sort of turn around for them. And perhaps the Giants, in the ownership of the Odyssey Trust, that big body that safeguards so many things in the city of Belfast, that seems to me to be a nice little fit for them as well. I note the statement here, you know, that the Odyssey Trust want to secure the future of ice hockey long term, and that's what we all want in Belfast. Yeah, again, absolutely. I think that Belfast, being the club that they are, they will pull through, as we were just saying, and like you say, there's no better organisation as the Trust to take them over. So we all wish them well, and I wish them well, and best of luck for the rest of the year. Let's talk hockey a little bit then. Who's going to win the league? You've played the Nottingham Panthers, the Belfast Giants last week, and the Sheffield Steelers. Where do you see it going? It's tight, isn't it? Absolutely. Nottingham, it's theirs to lose. I do think, obviously, with Sheffield and Belfast just behind them, anything can happen, and I guess it's making for an exciting finish. Yeah. Talk to us about the three teams and how they differ. You say it's Nottingham's to lose. What's the difference between when Coventry go into Nottingham or Belfast or Sheffield? How do they differ in your eyes, those three teams? I guess the thing is, with this league is every team kind of has a different identity, and just because we might go and beat Nottingham with our identity, or they might beat us, doesn't mean that it's going to be the same when they play the likes of Sheffield or Belfast. So I think Nottingham, they're obviously a very skilled hockey club, and from results that have happened this year, I think Sheffield have fared better than Belfast. So I think for Sheffield, they're looking forward to this Friday, which there's a big game coming up, and it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. OK, that's this Friday. Well, last Friday, Russ and the Coventry Blaze were at the Odyssey Arena. It was the first of two games, Friday and Saturday, between the Giants and the Blaze. Really, the Giants couldn't afford any slip-ups. Chris Ellis will talk you through game one.
A win for Belfast really would have put them in a strong position in the title race in this one, and they went ahead. What a great skate there by Garside. And mopping up was Lloyd from left side. 1:19 gone in the game. It was 1-0 to the Belfast Giants. Now, by the time of the second goal in the game, referee Michael Hicks was gone from the game due to an injury. And Coventry levelled Campbell in the slot at 15:36 to make it a 1-1 hockey game. Things began to turn in period 2. The Coventry Blaze really hit form. Lovely goal from the left circle there for Brad Leib. Over the goalie's shoulder, it was 2-1, a 21st of the season. And then new boy Henry, not really new boy now, is he? But he's having a great season in the small time he's been with the Blaze. That made it 3-1, and then Leib again, the Brad variety. He in the slot once more, and in period 3, the Coventry Blaze were leading by 4-1. Belfast needed to find a way back. They got one with Clark, a 14th of the season, but the Giants were on the way to defeat. That's now 3 games out the last 8 at home they've lost, all of them on a Friday night. Into the empty net there was Hendrick, his 2nd of the night and his 6th of the season. That was the final score, 5-2 for the Coventry Blaze. And as the game ticked down, there was a bit of aggro as well. Sandrock thrown out for a spear, and Leib also thrown out on a game misconduct when it appears he threw Sandrock's stick into the crowd. But the final score on the ice, Belfast 2, Coventry Blaze 5.
Huge 2 points then for the Coventry Blaze as they go chasing the Cardiff Devils in that chase for 4th place. Doug wouldn't have been very happy, I wouldn't imagine. Very interesting stat that Chris Ellis gave out there, that 3 of the last 8 home games for the Belfast Giants, the Belfast club have lost, and they've all been on a Friday night. Normally when a club goes in there for 2 back-to-back games, normally the first game's the toughest of them all, but obviously you quelled that.
Yeah, I think for us it was about making sure that we played for 60 minutes. The last time we were there, we had a 3-goal lead going into the 3rd, and then they tied it up and ended up winning in the shootout. So we stuck to our game plan and we went at them, and it worked for us. So and then obviously on the Saturday, it seemed to me like they were more desperate, changed their game plan a little bit, and then we got indisciplined in that game, so that the Saturday night slipped away from us. We'll
take a look at Saturday in a moment. Let's take a quick look at Friday. Brad Leib, he got a brace, continues his fine run of form. Talk us through these goals.
Yeah, this one, he's great one time with the puck. Caught the top corner. I think he was a little bit fortunate on that one. Didn't catch it quite well, but he's a great one-timer with the puck.
If he didn't catch the first one, he caught the second, didn't he?
Yeah, he's that's what he is. He's a goal scorer, and you can see there from that highlight that why he is a goal scorer.
Nobody wants to see anybody ever get suspended. Nobody wants to see players miss a game, but I can't help but think Sandrock's a lucky lad for that.
You know what? When I was playing the game, obviously it happens so fast you don't get to see, but after watching the highlights, you can see that he was looking at him, looking where he wanted to spear him, and as a player, the only thing that we want is A, protection, and B, consistency. So that's all that we ask for, and I hope that that can be something that's met.
I'm sure we'll talk about that incident, the Leib Sandrock incident, when we've seen the next load of highlights in a few moments' time. But to me, it seemed like, with no suspension carrying over, it kind of carried on into that game. Was that a feeling of it, going into game 2 on the Saturday?
You know what? Maybe for us halfway through, I guess so. But to start with, obviously we're looking for a playoff position. They're obviously looking to catch Nottingham, so we're both playing for something, and you don't want to obviously let your team down, take stupid penalties, although be it we did that halfway through. To start with, both of us were obviously going for the game, and as I say, it obviously slipped away from us. But in terms of that incident, I mean, obviously the league makes the decision they think's right, but again, as a player, all we ask for is consistency and player protection.
Okay, that was game 1. Game 2, 24 hours later, Odyssey Arena. Could the Belfast Giants get back to winning ways? Chris, tell us.
It was an interesting weekend for these two sides on the ice, and as since has been revealed, a testing weekend for the Giants off the ice. Peacock, a clever play, a great time in Latvia with GB he had, and his play there set up Clark on the rebound at 7:36. The game was level though in the first period at 15:07, a power play goal for Henrik, a 7th goal of the season since joining the club, and we're all square. But then the Giants hit a purple patch and scored 2 goals in 18 seconds. First of all, Langlaise, the new boy, started this move, and Toe jumped onto a loose puck, a 4th of the season for him. That made it 2-1, and then Langlaise involved once more But here, he scores his first goal for the club. Peacock with one of the assists, Surrett with the other one. So it's a 3-1 hockey game in the first period. But this game was not without incident. Here you see Olsen on Keith, on the boards. It spills over in front of the Coventry net and they start to go toe-to-toe. Not for the first time this season. But they've forgotten to do something. Look, they pause, have a word, and the helmets come off. And then the fight intensifies. Big bombs being landed from both players. This is not the last fight of the night. They go on for a good amount of time. And that is the first scrap of the night. An entertaining one at that. And the Odyssey is alive, alive-o. Coventry's second goal was a beauty. Break down the ice. Henrik for Cameron. 20th of the season for Cameron. They are thrilled because at this point, it's a one-goal hockey game. Bit of wrestling there, though. Two players going to the floor. But it's Cameron who's being sent to the box. He goes to sit down for a couple of minutes. That's not the end of the rough and tumble because now we see a fight. It's Keith once more, this time against Coventry's Egner. This one didn't last as long, but the pair of them will sit with fighting majors, and the penalties just kept on coming. So 3-2 at this stage, then a lovely bit of skill sees Roberts score after Langlaise does that skill. So that's 4-2, and the game getting a little bit one-sided. And the feistiness continued. Domish there getting quite angry. And then Ben Olsen as well. All sorts of pushing and shoving and punches being thrown and penalties being taken by the Coventry Blaze. They were hitting penalty trouble in the third period. Still a two-goal game as the third period was in full swing. Peacock over the shoulder there. Lovely goal from the GB man. That's 5-2. And the points are surely going the way of Belfast Giants. Well, they were, because 3 goals in the last 2.5 minutes made sure. Rycroft there with his 12th goal of the season. That's goal number 6 of the night for the Belfast Giants. And still time for Clark to score with 1 minute 57 left on the clock. That's 7-2. And with less than a minute to go in the game, Rycroft gets his second of the night. Final score, Belfast 8, Coventry 2.
Nice viewing if you're a fan of the Belfast Giants. Bad viewing if you're a fan of the Coventry Blaze. It wasn't easy for you to watch that one again, was it?
No, absolutely not.
No.
They, as I say, they came out Saturday after we defeated them on Friday, and they played more desperate. And Keith obviously wanted to get their team going, and he had a fight with Olsen, and it seemed to get them going. And then, as I say, we got in discipline, which basically the game sort of switched over to them.
Is it frustrating being in that Coventry Blaze team right now that you know that when you can keep the discipline and still play tough and still play nasty and still play on the edge, you can actually beat every single team in the league? But there's a fine line. And too many times now the Blaze have probably overstepped that fine line, and it's caused defeats like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we know what we have, and sometimes it's easier for people that are watching to sort of speculate, and sometimes people play with the emotion, and if they didn't have that emotion, it wouldn't make them half the player that they are. And yes, sometimes we've been indisciplined, we've controlled it at times, and other times we haven't. But it's about learning from it and making sure that as we come down the stretch here, that we control our emotions and use that in a positive way. Because
if you give the Belfast Giants lots of power play chances, they're going to score lots of goals. Let's take a look at 4 of them now. Clark and Rycroft both had a couple apiece. It was a nice little move from Peaks.
It was, and then loose puck. And as I say, we took a lot of penalties, and you end up getting tired, and obviously here it was a nice play, a nice move, and someone's got to front him really, but yeah, it was a nice play there by Rycroft.
They're one of those teams that can exploit you, Belfast, can't they? If you keep them tight, they don't have a lot of scoring, but if you do open it up a little bit, they can kill you.
Exactly, and I think we were killing for between 25 and 30 minutes of this game, and obviously against a team like Belfast, you can't do that.
And I'm going to tell you, one of the best bits of video I've seen all season is the bit coming up here between 2 of the toughest men you're ever likely to meet in your life. But this is proper old school, I find. Just talk us through the whole incident.
Yeah, it's credit to them both. Obviously, I don't know Keith, but it seems to me that he stands up for his teammates. I know Olsen, Oli, really well, and he's as good a guy off the ice as he is on, and he does a job for us every night.
But how good is this? This is old school, folks. Yeah, let's go again. They don't want to break their hands, that's the reason, isn't it? Yeah,
they, you know what, they have that mutual respect, fighters, and it's nice to see that they're obviously playing within the rounds of the game. So,
yeah. Is he the perfect tough guy, Kiefer? Because he can be your captain, he can lead your intensity, he can score goals, and also he can fight the toughest guy in the league in somebody like Olsen. He seems to me just to be probably the perfect elite league all-round player.
Yeah, he, as I say, I've had the pleasure of watching him now for a few seasons, and as you can see this year, he's you know, it seems to me like he's been a good leader, and as you just said, he came on the Saturday, had a fight, wanted to get his team going because we beat them on Friday, and he led from the front and everyone followed. So, yeah, I think they've got a good leader in Belfast.
We like Adam Keith, don't we? No better leader for the Belfast Giants. Well, that is Belfast out of the way for this week. When we come back after the break, though, we'll see how the Nottingham Panthers and the Sheffield Steelers fared, both against Scottish opposition. Don't go anywhere.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
Hello and welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. Just before the break, we saw how the Belfast Giants fared against the Coventry Blaze. Won one, lost one. And those two drop points gave the Sheffield Steelers a chance to move into second place. What they had to do was beat the Five Flyers. How did they get on, Chris?
It was 2 home games in 2 days for the Sheffield Steelers last weekend as they continued their quest to catch Nottingham at the top of the Elite League table. Lovely first goal for the Steelers in their special, stylish shirts. It was a great feed from Le Guy to set up Champagne on the doorstep. 7:36 gone, and the Steelers were leading by 1-0. It was a good first period for the Steelers. They outshot the Flyers 12-5, so no surprise when they got a second goal. This time, the tip-in from Gertson in front of the net. He does the hard work there in front of Blair Daly to make the scoreline 2-0. Frank and Ferguson with the assist, but you'll see here, he goes towards the net, gets in the place, but you want to go as a forward, and it's 2-0 at the end of the first period. Check into the head penalty there, called by referee Tom Darnell. That means 12 minutes in the penalty box for Sean Limpright. That one came at 16:45. You see the slow-mo there. And Limbright was to sit for 12 minutes in the game. It didn't affect the Sheffield Steelers, though, and they went into the second period. And this time they outshot the Flyers 11-5. This one was moved around well. Phillips and Gertson involved. Strong work in the corners. And on the rebound there, it was Esdras for a 4th goal of the season for him. Right on the doorstep for the British player. You see the puck here just bobbling, and he gets his stick to it. And Daly is beaten. Had a good game, Blair Daly. 37 shots on goal. It was the Steelers, though, who are trying to create more chances. But here we see a fight. This one between Keller and Michelle, coming at 45-44. The two of them sitting 5-minute majors for their troubles. But both sets of fans in the arena enjoyed that one. The Steelers came close to a 4th goal. Oh, so close for Jason Hewitt. Was it over the line? But you'll see on the replay, he pulls the move on the netminder. Looks like it could be sliding under him, but Daly springs back and gets his hand to it and keeps that one out. But the final score in the Motorpoint Arena, Sheffield Steelers 3, Five Flyers 0.
A shutout for John DeCaro then, and a 3-0 victory for the Sheffield Steelers. They seem to be turning the screw a bit, Sheffield. 5 straight wins now for Ryan Finnerty's side.
Yeah, they're obviously they've got the league and Nottingham in their sights, so for them it's desperate hockey for the rest of the season, and obviously the last 5 games they've showed that.
Well, whilst the Sheffield Steelers were beating the Five Flyers, the Nottingham Panthers were taking on the Braehead Clan at the NIC. Let's see how they got on.
Nottingham made a terrific start to this game at the National Ice Centre. Only 1:24 on the clock when Guy Lepine scored. You can see Benedict saying, "I didn't touch it." And that's Guy Lepine's 3rd goal of the season. But Benedict was heavily involved just a couple of minutes later. First of all, scoring on the doorstep at 3:35. And then the goal of the game, breaking short-handed. What a move on the netminder. 8:24 gone. Benedict gets his second goal of the game. Into period 2 now, and Benedict gets a straight hat-trick. He scores here on the rebound, mops up the loose puck. 21-21 gone in the game, and Benedict has a hat-trick at the National Ice Centre. Things got better and better for Nottingham. They scored goal number 5. Great play from Fox, rebound for Graham. That made the game 5-0. The Panthers were so in control. David Clark got Nottingham 6. Scores there on the backhand. That was the end of the night for the netminder Darren McChesney. You see him just in the corner of your picture. Start to get angry. Here he starts to slam the door. There were some gestures to the crowd as well, which earned himself a match penalty. So his place was taken over by Mike Will. Willett was soon beaten by the Nottingham Panthers, this time Weaver scoring to make it 7. In the third period, Will stood firm and the Brayhead clan got some momentum and maybe saved a bit of face. First of all, McPherson scoring a 5th goal of the season from the pass from Hayward. By now for Nottingham, Dan Green had taken over in net. And still the goals kept on coming. Shepka scoring there. Lovely play by him. 49.06 the time of that one. So he made it 7-2. And then the same man scoring 2 minutes later, just to give his side a bit more of a consolation. Final score though, Nottingham 7, Brayhead Clan 3.
A fine victory then for the Nottingham Panthers that kept them top of the league. Just a quick word on McChesney. Feeble door slamming by McChesney. Take a look back on YouTube at the videos. Dave Whistle, the finest door slammer I think in the history of British hockey. Were you too young for Whistle and his tantrums?
I remember Whistle, but I can't quite remember any of his tantrums.
Oh,
so
every time the door slammed, the teeth came out. It was a mess. It was, but Nottingham comfortable victory there, and they're looking pretty invincible right now.
They're a tough team at home. Even playing them, obviously, whether it be in Coventry when we've played them, they're tough as well. So they're probably, I think, the best offensive team. And if you're not smart and you get away from your systems, then that can happen.
In the car coming up here, when we were watching the highlights and when we were just seeing it again on the screen, then you and I were just talking about Brandon Benedict. Let's see his hat-trick now. We like him, don't we? He gives the Nottingham Panthers energy, and he gives them something they perhaps didn't have in years gone by.
Sure, he can lead by example. I mean, if things aren't going their way, and his work ethic can sort of get people going. I mean, that was a nice skill for that goal. And
that wasn't a typical Benedict goal, was it? Because you associate Benedict with something like this.
Right. He's good around the net, and if you don't take sticks away, that can happen. And as you say, he brings a bit of everything, and I think that helps Nottingham.
Yeah. We talk about all the stars that the Nottingham Panthers have, and they do. They're blessed with a great array of stars. We saw Graham score again. We're seeing Ling score night after night. But actually, I think that combination of Francis, who's got a little quiet in the last couple of weeks, but Francis and Benedict, they're their engine room, aren't they? They are the players that get them going. Absolutely.
Whenever I've been part of a game, they never stop. And if you're marking them, if you stop, the puck will be in the back of the net. So they're two really good players, and as you say, they just don't stop. They're workhorses.
Right, more action for you now. The Hull Stingrays and the Cardiff Devils. This was an absolute must-win game for Sylvain Cloutier's team. That Gardner Conference is so tight. The bottom of the league is so tight. How would Hull qualify for the playoffs? Well, to have any chance, they just had to beat Gerard Adams' side.
The Devils arrived in Hull, of course, without the long-term injured Mac Faulkner and Phil Hill. Tempers frayed in the opening stages. Players getting involved here from both sides. McRae and Dooley, one from each side, sitting 2-minute minors for this incident. And also Cardiff coming forward left-hand side, and then more tempers frayed after this hit here by Davis on Beerbraer. Down Beerbraer goes, stays down, but players from both sides get involved and begin to start to wrestle just on the boards. And the linesman just having a tough job of breaking this one up. No punches thrown in this one, just a bit of push and shove, but players inquiring after each other's welfares. Beerbraer looks a bit groggy, but he was able to get back up to his feet. It was 1-0 Cardiff in the first session. Gimblett touching in there. Marsh's shot at 18:30. So the Devils in front, the redirect they're doing for bounds. But it was only 43 seconds later when the home side were level. Dooley with the assist and Osman with the wraparound. So we saw the score at 1-1 at the end of the first period. To period 3, power play for the home side. They had a timeout. They had a chance to win this one. And just getting ready for the blast there is Dooley. And Dooley scores what turns out to be the winning goal with 2.5 minutes remaining. Hull 2, Cardiff 1.
Just how important is that blast from Dooley? A 2-1 victory then for the Hull Stingrays. It is so tight at the bottom, they couldn't have afforded to have dropped another 2 points at home, could they?
No, absolutely not. Both conferences are tight, or the whole league, I should say, is tight, and no matter what position you're in, you're fighting for a position. So obviously for both of them, I know Cardiff and us are sort of fighting it out for a playoff spot, and obviously Hull, they want to make the playoffs. So they needed to play desperate hockey, and it was a really good one-timer, actually. Perfect.
How have the Hull Stingrays dropped behind Dundee, Edinburgh and Fife? Because every time I see them play, I seem to think they're better than what their league position shows.
Yeah, I guess obviously playing for Coventry, we don't play them as much as obviously within our conference. But other than the last game we played against Hull, I thought they've been a really good team, and Cloutier's got them, with a good system, and we've always found it tough. We've been to overtime with them, and they've done really well. So I don't understand what's not working for them in their conference.
OK, time for a break now. When we come back, we'll head over to the Sky Dome Arena, where Russ and the Coventry Blaze were taking on the Edinburgh Capitals. You don't want to miss it.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
Welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. Just before our highlights of the game between Russ Cowley's Coventry Blaze and the Edinburgh Capitals, let me just show you a nice little graphic. Well, it's a nice graphic if you're a fan of the Edinburgh Capitals, because on Saturday they thumped the Dundee Stars by 8-2. Of course, Yarrolin was involved, Lean Webber, and a whole range of Edinburgh Capitals. A fine victory. Well, that was on Saturday. What would happen on Sunday? The bus trip had been made. The Sky Dome Arena was waiting. It's the Coventry Blaze versus the Edinburgh Capitals, and Chris Ellis will talk you through it.
It was an up-and-down weekend prior to this for the Coventry Blaze. A win in the Odyssey against Belfast on Friday before a heavy defeat on Saturday. And they went ahead here on the Sunday. Bayrak gains the zone, a 7th goal of the season for him. Now, Edinburgh's power play this season has been poor. They've got the second worst on the road, only scoring at about 11%. Well, they scored here with a man advantage. Portwood at 7:29 on the doorstep to level the game up at 1-1. And then at 14:48, they got another with the man advantage. Hartman and Yarrolin getting the assists, and Lean Webber scoring a 16th goal of the season. He's not been here all year, already on 16 goals. So 2-1 to the visitors. In period 2, a terrific goal here from Greg Lean. What a blast from the left circle. Griffin with the assist, and at 23:52, the game is level at 2-2. Into the third period now, and time running out. Who's going to get the winning goal? Cameron steps in from the right. That's a terrific finish to win the game. Look how delighted he is. Look what it means to the Blaze players. Coventry 3, Edinburgh Capitals 2.
If only that Dustin Cameron had just show a little bit of emotion. I think fans would just get to feel him a bit more. He loves it, doesn't he? You saw the goal against Belfast. Big emotion, big goal, exactly the same. He's kind of bought into the whole Coventry Blaze experience.
Yeah, the fans love him for that reason, and for us as players, with having someone like that on the team, if things are sort of at that point, obviously it was 2-2. He scores a big goal. You see his emotion. You can feed off it.
He's an energy guy,
absolutely,
isn't he?
Yeah. Kind of like we were talking with Benedict. He's kind of, for us, we can feed off his energy, and that makes us a better hockey team.
Talk to us about this Lean Webber. Came from absolutely nowhere. Has done nothing but score goals and create plays for the Edinburgh Capitals. Okay, didn't quite work out despite a 2-point night on Sunday. But every time you see Edinburgh, he is right in the mix of everything, isn't he?
Yeah, for me, playing obviously in that game, he's the player I noticed the most for them. You know what, like you say, he gets in the right places. He was making plays all night. They obviously have a certain system that they play with, but someone like him on their team, obviously he's been crucial for them, because he's helped them win games, and he almost did the same, obviously, in our place on Sunday.
OK, let's move to the big blue tent in Cardiff. The Devils, without Mac Faulkner, were taking on the Dundee Stars. Could Dundee pick up any valuable cross-conference points that would help them as they went chasing that Gardner Conference title? Chris Ellis will tell us.
Dundee rolled into Cardiff. The first goal of the night went to the home side. What a great skate and a terrific finish from Max Beerbray. 1-0 Cardiff on the power play there at 9:15 gone in the game. So that was the scoring to start. Then the little tangle on the boards there, on the backboards. We see a delayed penalty being called, but then there's a scrap. Josh Batch, who signed a new contract with the Cardiff Devils this week for next season, he goes toe-to-toe with Forsyth. Batch really a gem of a find for the Cardiff Devils. Gives them a little bit of everything at the moment. And that was a nice little tussle. So 1-0 at that stage, but it became 1-1 when McLean fired past Whitley at 12:24. The game level as the period was coming to a close, but still time for Max Beerbray to score his second goal of the night. 1 minute and 6 seconds to go in the period from the left circle, and the Cardiff Devils are leading by 2-1. In the second period, there was only one goal, and despite being outshot 14-9, it went the way of the Dundee Stars. It was a lovely move, and Wirral finished it off, a 28th goal of the season. 2-2 hockey game then. In the second period, there was still time for more feisty action. That a checking to the head penalty for Bowen coming at 51:45, so he was to sit for 12 minutes. Referee Dean Smith saying, your turn to go to the penalty box. So to the shootout. Ryanen is unable to score, normally quite reliable in the shootout. So it's a turn of Max Beerbray. He can't score, despite getting 2 goals in the game. At the other end, it is Mike Wirrall's turn. No goal for him. So Mark Richardson. 1-0 on the shootout to the Cardiff Devils. A chance for Hutchins is denied. And the shootout win goes to the Devils at last. Cardiff 3, Dundee Stars 2.
Perhaps a good result always round there. Cardiff win at home, extend their lead over the Coventry Blaze for that 4th place, but the Dundee Stars pick a valuable point up in their conference as well.
Yeah, crucial. We were obviously hoping for a Dundee win, but Cardiff's a tough place to go and play, and they'll be happy, I think, going away with a point.
You can't stress how hard it is when you lose your #1 guy. You lost Shay Guthrie, and as hard as you all play, you can't replace a Guthrie. Cardiff can't replace a Faulkner. They're so reliant then upon their secondary scoring, and it was good that Big Max came out with 2 bombs, didn't he?
Yeah, his first one, as we were talking with the highlights there, it was a great shot, and Max is one of those players that can change a game, and that's what he did against Dundee. You
know Jeff Hutchins pretty well. He played with you in Coventry. What do you think he's brought to the Dundee Stars? Because it was a funny kind of decision when he got the coaching job there. Some of us who get on really well with Hutch, thought, yes, this is a good move, but there was some debate of whether he was the right man to lead them forward, but he's answered every critic, surely.
I think so, yeah. I mean, the thing with him is he's although he wasn't experienced as a coach, I think he's always had that personality of being a leader. And I think he's done a tremendous job with Dundee. He's got them drilled in a way that they play a game a certain way, and that's what's obviously brought them wins. And yeah, I do know Hutchie, and he'll be the type of guy that does his homework and basically make sure that each game he's got a system in place and the guys bring everything for him.
Okay. As Chris mentioned there on the VT, congratulations to Josh Batch. He signed a new 1-year extension with the Cardiff Devils. So did the head coach, Gerard Adams. So he'll be in the big blue tent again next year as well. Time for a break now. When we come back, we'll head over to the NIC, Game 2 of the weekend for the Nottingham Panthers. They were taking on the 5 Flyers, who were backed by over 300 travelling fans.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports. Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.
Welcome back to the Rapid Solicitors Elite Ice Hockey League highlight show here on Sky Sports. Let's head straight to the NIC in Nottingham, where the 5 Flyers were in town. Remember, 5 had been shut out in Sheffield the night before. Blair Daly was in goal. He was in goal again with Pitton still injured. But more goaltending worries for the Five Flyers happened halfway through this one. Chris will explain.
A second home game in as many nights for the Nottingham Panthers, and once again they took the lead early on. 1:42 gone. Great skills from David Ling, and Brandon Benedict scoring there, his 13th of the season. But unlike against Braehead, they had to wait until the second period for more goal action. Great work from Jordan Fox and Kelsey Wilson, just firing the puck over the line. That made it 2-0 at 26:59. And then again, Fox dancing in from the left-hand side, and this time it was Gallivan with a 19th goal of the season. That saw a change in net due to an injury there to the netminder Blair Daly, so it was a competitive debut for Craig Douglas. Well, Fife scored quite quickly afterwards. Haynes, a 20th of the season, but back came Nottingham, and Fox, who had been setting them up, got his own goal, and it was a 13th of the season for him at 33-11. Then came a decent spell for the Five Flyers. First of all, new boy Podge Turnbull getting a goal, his first for the club, and the fantastic travelling Fife support were then exploding with joy as their side came to within one. Pitton with a 20th goal of the season, coming 34 seconds after they'd got their second. So that was 4-3, but there was still time for one more goal in period 2. In fact, it was the final goal of the game. Benedict and Graham perfectly setting up David Ling to score his 26th goal of the season. Nottingham 5, 5-3.
Hey folks, the Panthers bus just keeps on rolling, doesn't it? Comfortable victory for the Nottingham Panthers at home, and they're formidable. We keep saying it every game we see them play.
Yeah, they don't looking at the highlights there and the highlights that we've seen, they don't score too many ugly ones. So yeah, they're going to be a tough team to stop.
We're going to see Jordan Fox in a moment and his goals. How important do you think it was for them to get him back playing up front again? Because they've had to use him as a defenceman. I think he's one of the best forwards in the league.
Yeah, he's got a tremendous amount of skill, and actually, to be honest, he's played most of the games that we've played against Nottingham this season, and I think he's done a great job, whether he's back there or up front. And he you know, obviously he's taken the captaincy, and I think he's done a good job for them, and he'll basically do what it takes and play wherever to obviously better the team. But I agree with you, he brings more as a forward.
Shows true leadership when that happens, doesn't it? Let's see his goals then. Jordan Fox was instrumental in one of these. Talk us through this first one. Fox involved.
There's his skill again, spinorama and backdoor, and as I say, they don't score too many ugly ones, and that was a pretty nice one.
And the second one?
Yeah, obviously it was just a quick release, fake pass, and obviously the goalie was cheating on the pass, so it was again good skill from Fox.
A change of goalie occurred. We wish Pitton and Blair Daly the best of luck in their recoveries, but Ling's not going to miss from there, is he?
No, and there's another nice pass by Benedict, and kind of what we were saying before, that Benedict, he's a good player for them, and he's been playing really well.
The Nottingham Panthers haven't slipped up this year in the games that they've slipped up in previous years. They've just kept on rolling, and it seems to me that they've got perhaps a more mature bunch, they've got a more experienced team, and that Fox, Ling, Benedict, Francis, the whole group there seems more geared to win.
Yeah, I guess for league championships, it's all about consistency, and I guess quite clearly so far they've been the most consistent team, and if they maintain that, then they're obviously going to win the league. So if they can maintain that consistency, then they're going to have success.
One of the teams that can catch the Nottingham Panthers, even though they will probably have to win out for the remaining of the season, is the Sheffield Steelers. After shutting out the Five Flyers 3-0 on Saturday, they took on the Hull Stingrays on Sunday.
This was the third game in 4 nights for the Sheffield Steelers. They'd won the other 2, so 2 more points here would make it a great 4 days. First goal of the night went the Steelers' way. On the rebound there, Limbright with his 16th goal of the season. You'll see on the replay it takes all sorts of deflections off Dooley, off bounds, and it trickles into the back of the net, and the Sheffield Steelers were 1 up after 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Goal number 2 is strong work from Myers and Gertsen down in the corner, working well, and it's just patient really, and Gertsen plays it across, and Limbright there goes towards the net and gets his 17th goal of the season. 12:35 gone, you'll see the puck come across to him. It's flipping, it's going one way and the other, but he gets his stick to it, and 2-0 Sheffield led at the end of the first period. To period 2, things got better for the Steelers on the power play. Just before the midway point in the game, Champagne and Le Gui getting the assist, the one-timer from Ferguson in the right circle, and the Steelers fans were cheering once more to make it 3-0 to the home side. They were home and hosed, really, and on his way to a 17-shot shutout was John De Caro. But at the other end, Ashley Tate goes so close to GB International. It is through the crease and wide of the left-hand post. So that stayed at 3-0, but with 25 seconds to go in the game, the clock was ticking down, but it was a great moment for Limbright. What a move on the defenseman, hat-trick goal, and a final score of Sheffield 4, Hull 0.
So the Sheffield Steelers keep the back pressure on the Nottingham Panthers, and I guess, Ross, that's all the Steelers can do right now is just keep winning their games and trying to put some pressure on Nottingham. Yeah,
it's a must. As we were saying before, obviously Sheffield, they've got the trophy in their sights, and also Nottingham, so for them every game's a must-win.
You've won championships before. You've won them when you've chased teams and pipped them at the post, and you've won teams when you've led from the get-go. Is there a preference? Is it harder one way or the other?
I think there's pressure on both, and I don't think I would say that I've experienced one way being harder than the other, but certainly when you are ahead, I would honestly say that realistically you think in your mind, you know what, they're just there, and you might be holding your stick a little tighter, or in a game you might be a little bit nervous beforehand, but as I say, I think I don't know if you agree with me, but maybe Friday might be the decider. I don't know.
I think Friday is going to decide it one way or the other. Just before we talk about Friday, and we'll talk about that in a bit greater detail, the game between the Panthers and the Steelers, Sean Limbright, he's slow start, but then since Christmas has just flourished. Let's take a look at his hat-trick. 3 important goals. I'm pretty sure Banzi will want the first one back.
Yeah. I think so. I don't know whether his D-man screened him, but again, you get pucks in net and good things happen. And the second one here, it looks like he had good hand-eye, picked it out the air.
Nice finish.
Absolutely.
And then in fact, actually seen it again on the super slow-mo, super finish. The third one was, it's a goal everybody would love to score, isn't it?
It just shows what he can and what he's capable of. I mean, as a D-man, you don't like to get dangled like that, and obviously the finish, top shelf, and that's a tremendous amount of skill to score a goal like that. So.
Yeah. Do you see Sheffield having a chance in this whole race, or is it still, as we said at the top, Nottingham's to lose?
I think it's Nottingham's to lose, but I think that again, I guess maybe it comes down to this Friday, but Sheffield just have to keep trying to win games, bring the points in, and then keep maintaining that pressure on Nottingham and see if they fall.
Okay, well, you've seen all the goals, all the action, all the highlights. Let's just take a quick recap then of all the results from around the Elite Ice Hockey League. We started off, of course, on Friday, the 15th of February. The Belfast Giants 2, the Coventry Blaze 5. Following evening, the Giants, they just blasted the Coventry Blaze out of the Odyssey, 8-2. Same score line in Murrayfield, 8-2 for the Caps over the Stars, and a tight one in Hull with the Stingrays, 2-1 victors over the Cardiff Devils. We flip forward. Nottingham 7-3 over the Clan, and the Steelers, the first of their 2 shutouts, 3-0 over the 5 Flyers. On Sunday, the 17th of February, Cardiff 3-2 in a shootout over the Dundee Stars. A valuable point though for Jeff Hutchins' side. Coventry 3-2 over Edinburgh. Nottingham 5-3 over the 5 Flyers, and the Sheffield Steelers 4-0 over the Hull Stingrays. Let's take a look then how that affects the 2 conferences. Nottingham lead the way in the Erdhardt, Belfast, Sheffield, and then Cardiff and Coventry. I make no apologies for just saying take a look at that Gardner Conference. 30, 29, 29, 28, 27. Any one of those teams certainly could win the conference and thus, of course, go into the playoffs as the 2nd seed, as we explained last week. Let's just throw all those together and see how it comes out in the full table. Have you ever seen a table that had the team in 6th place and the team in 9th place on the same amount of points? That's so tight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unprecedented. I've never seen that with the league, and it certainly shows what the conference is doing with the league. That it's been productive.
Okay, right. It is possible that the Hull Stingrays, I don't think the Hull Stingrays can make 8th place. I think they're stuck in the bottom 2, thus don't qualify. But if they actually win every one of their conference games, they could actually win their conference and go in as the 2nd seed, and the team that finishes 8th not make the playoffs at all. How crazy was that?
Which again is how tight we just said it was. So I mean, every team right now, and that's what's making it such a good spectacle, is that every team has pressure on them for whatever reason it may be, whether you're at the top or the bottom, and they still have a chance. And that's what you like to see, whether you're a fan or as a player. You don't want to be playing games. In the past, we played games towards the later part of the season, and they don't matter. No one's going to go watch them. But this year, it's a different case, and it's fun.
Something to play for every single team in the league, which is why you should go and take in a game this weekend. Here they are, folks, and they start with no bigger game than on Friday tonight. But don't worry, it's sold out, so you haven't missed it. You couldn't have bought a ticket anyway. The Nottingham Panthers and the Sheffield Steelers at the NIC, a 7:30 face-off. On Saturday, the Edinburgh Capitals take on the Coventry Blaze, 6 p.m. start. Braehead versus the Panthers up in Glasgow, 7 o'clock. Belfast versus the Sheffield Steelers at the Odyssey Arena at 7. Get out and support your Belfast Giants, folks. Your team needs you right now. And the Five Flyers against the Hull Stingrays. Let's flip it forward to Sunday. Hull versus the Braehead Clan. It is no bigger game you could ever wish to imagine for the Hull Stingrays, and that one they just simply have to win it. Cardiff over the Belfast Giants, then the Dundee Stars taking on the Steelers, and the Five Flyers taking on the Coventry Blaze. You'll be able to see all the action, all the highlights, hits and goals in next week's show. Sky Sports 4 at 8 p.m. It's a huge weekend, top, middle and bottom. Don't miss out. Go and take in a game. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Sponsors of the Elite Ice Hockey League on Sky Sports.